Tower Records, Seattle, October 1993. Kurt Cobain has been signing albums for 2 hours. His hand aches. Flash after flash, smile after smile, the same questions over and over. Then a man reaches the front of the line. Worn jacket, tired eyes, empty hands. He doesn't ask for a signature. He asks Kurt one question. 5 words. That's all. Security steps closer. The crowd leans in. Kurt stops. His pen hovers above the page. He looks up, holds this man's gaze. And what he does in the next 12 seconds doesn't just answer the question. It rewrites everything Kurt thought he knew about why he became famous in the first place. Seattle, Washington, October 16, 1993, Saturday afternoon. 2:30 in the afternoon. The sky is the color it always is in Seattle this time of year, low and gray, threatening rain that never quite arrives, just hangs there, heavy, pressing down on the city like a wet blanket. Tower Records sits on 4th Avenue, red and yellow sign visible from blocks away. Inside, fluorescent lights hum, rows of CDs in plastic cases, posters on every wall. Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana. Everywhere Nirvana. In Utero dropped a month ago, already platinum, already everywhere, already too big to be real. Outside on the sidewalk, a line stretches around the block. 200 people, maybe more. Teenagers in flannel shirts and ripped jeans, college students with backpacks, a few older fans, people in their 30s who remember punk before it became grunge, before it became a brand, before MTV made it safe. They stand in line holding copies of In Utero. Some have brought Nevermind, too, hoping to get both signed. Some have brought guitars. One kid has a skateboard with the Nirvana logo spray painted on the bottom. They wait, patient, excited, nervous. This is their chance to meet Kurt Cobain, to stand in front of him, to say something, to have him look at them, to exist in his presence for 10 seconds before security moves them along. Inside, Kurt sits at a folding table near the front window. Simple setup. Table, chair, stack of albums, black Sharpie. That's it. He's wearing a green cardigan over a white t-shirt, jeans with holes in the knees, blue Converse that have seen better days. His hair hangs in his face, unwashed the way it always is. He looks tired, more than tired, exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that comes from being awake when you should be sleeping, from being somewhere when you want to be nowhere, from smiling when you feel nothing. 2 security guards stand behind him, big men in black shirts with earpieces, arms crossed, watching the line, watching the crowd, watching Kurt, making sure nobody gets too close, too excited, too weird. Another guard stands at the front of the line, controlling the flow. One person approaches. Kurt signs. 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Then the guard moves them along. Next person steps up. Repeat. Over and over. Production line. Factory work. Except the product is a signature and a moment nobody will ever forget except the person who has to give it 200 times. Kurt signs without looking up most of the time. The pen moves across the CD booklet. His name in that scratchy handwriting. K-U-R-T. Sometimes he adds a smiley face, sometimes just the name. Depends on his mood. Depends on whether the person said something interesting or just stammered and blushed. He's been doing this for 2 hours. Started at 12:30. Supposed to go until 4. Another hour and a half. Another 100 people. Another 100 thank yous and oh my gods and I love yous and you changed my life. A girl steps up, maybe 17, blonde hair and 2 braids, Nirvana shirt. She's shaking, can barely hold the CD case steady. Kurt takes it from her, gentle, signs the booklet, hands it back. She says thank you 3 times, voice cracking, eyes wet. He nods, tries to smile. The smile doesn't reach his eyes. Never does anymore. The guard moves her along. Next person. A guy in his 20s, beard, flannel. He wants to talk about the album, about the production, about Steve Albini. Kurt nods along, signs the CD, answers in short sentences. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. The guard gives the signal. Time's up. Guy leaves. Next person. A woman in her 30s. She tells Kurt her son listens to Nirvana every day, that the music helped him through a hard time. Kurt's expression softens slightly. He asks the son's name, writes a personal message. To Ryan. Stay strong. Signs it, hands it back. She thanks him. Genuine. He nods. She leaves. Next person. The line continues. The pattern repeats. Kurt's hand starts to cramp around the 90-minute mark. He flexes his fingers between signatures. The security guard behind him asks if he needs a break. Kurt shakes his head. Keep going. Get through it. Get it done. Get out. Flash photography isn't allowed, but people try anyway. Quick shots with disposable cameras. The guards stop most of them, confiscate a few cameras, issue warnings. The rules are clear. No photos during signing. If you want a picture, buy one at the merch table. Kurt doesn't care about the photos, doesn't care about the rules. He just wants this to be over. Wants to be back at the house. Wants to be with Francis. Wants to be anywhere but here, smiling at strangers who think they know him because they know his songs. The crowd outside keeps growing. Word spread that Kurt showed up. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes the label sends someone else. But today he came, showed up, sat down, started signing. So the line grows. People driving past see the crowd, park, join the line. By 2:45, there are over 250 people waiting. The store manager looks nervous. This is more than expected, more than they planned for. He talks to the security team. They huddle, discuss logistics, how to manage the crowd, how to keep it safe, how to get everyone through before the 4 o'clock cutoff. Kurt doesn't hear any of this. He's inside his own head, autopilot mode. Sign, smile, nod, repeat. His mind is somewhere else, thinking about Francis Bean, 15 months old, at home with a nanny. Thinking about Courtney in Los Angeles recording. Thinking about the heroin he used yesterday, the way it made everything soft and quiet for a few hours. Thinking about how much he hates this, all of this, the performance, the expectation, the endless need from strangers who want something from him he doesn't have to give anymore. Another person steps up. Kurt signs. Next person. Signs. Next person. The rhythm continues. Then the rhythm breaks. A man steps to the front of the line, late 40s, maybe 50, hard to tell. His face is weathered, lined deep, skin darkened by sun and time and living outside. His jacket is worn thin, canvas material, olive green, fraying at the cuffs. His jeans are stained. His boots are held together with duct tape. His hair is gray, matted, pulled back in a thin ponytail. He hasn't shaved in weeks. His hands are calloused, nails broken and dirty. He's not holding a CD, not holding anything, just standing there, empty hands hanging at his sides. Kurt looks up, expects the usual, expects the man to pull out an album from somewhere, a coat pocket, a bag. But the man doesn't move, just stands there, looking at Kurt. Not starstruck, not nervous, just looking. Eye contact. Direct. Unflinching. The security guard at the front of the line notices, steps closer. "Sir, if you don't have anything to sign, you need to step aside. Let the next person through." The man doesn't look at the guard, keeps his eyes on Kurt. Then he speaks. His voice is rough, gravelly, like sandpaper, like years of cigarettes and cold nights and shouting into the void. He says, "Do you remember why you started?" 5 words, that's all. Do you remember why you started? Kurt's pen stops, hovers above the page, mid-signature, the Sharpie tip just barely touching the paper, not moving, frozen. His hand goes still, his shoulders tense. He looks up, meets the man's eyes, holds them. The security guard moves in. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Kurt raises his left hand, small gesture, fingers up, palm out. "Wait." The guard stops, looks at Kurt, confused. Kurt never stops the line, never engages, just signs and moves on. But his hand is still raised, still signaling. Wait. The line behind the man goes quiet. People leaning left and right, trying to see what's happening. Whispers ripple back. What's going on? Why did he stop? Who is that guy? Kurt puts the pen down, sets it on the table, leans back in the folding chair. The chair creaks. He doesn't break eye contact with the man, doesn't look away, doesn't dismiss him. Just sits there, looking, thinking, processing. The man doesn't move, doesn't repeat the question, doesn't push, just waits. Patient, like he has all the time in the world, like time doesn't matter anymore. The store goes quiet, fluorescent lights humming. Someone in the back coughs, but the front of the store, near the table, near Kurt and this man, it's silent. Heavy silence. The kind that presses down on your chest. Kurt's jaw tightens. His eyes stay locked on the man. Then something shifts in his expression. The exhaustion cracks. Behind it, something raw, something hurt. His eyes go red at the edges. Not crying, not yet, but close. He opens his mouth, closes it, tries again. "Yeah," he says, quiet, almost a whisper. "Yeah, I remember." The man nods, slow, once, like that's all he needed, like that's the only answer that mattered. Then he says, "Good. Don't forget." Turns, walks away. Doesn't wait for a response, doesn't ask for anything, doesn't thank Kurt. Just turns and walks toward the door. The security guard at the entrance moves aside, confused, letting him pass. The man pushes through the glass door and walks out onto 4th Avenue. Gone. Kurt sits there, staring at the empty space where the man stood, his hand still on the table, pen still lying there. The person next in line steps forward hesitantly, holding a CD, nervous, unsure if they should approach. Kurt doesn't move for a moment. Then he picks up the pen, looks at the CD, signs it. But his hand is shaking slightly. His signature is messier than before. He hands the CD back, nods. The person leaves. Next person steps up. Kurt signs. But something has changed. His movements are slower, more deliberate. He looks at each person now, actually looks at them, not through them, at them. He asks a few questions. Where are you from? How long have you been listening? What's your favorite song? Small talk, but genuine, present. The security guard behind him notices, leans down, whispers, "You okay?" Kurt nods. Yeah, I'm good. The signing continues, but the energy has shifted. Kurt is no longer on autopilot. He's there, in the moment, in the room, with these people who waited in line for 2 hours to meet him. He starts writing longer messages. To Sarah, keep making noise. To Mike, don't let them win. To Jessica, stay weird. He signs slower, takes his time. The line moves slower. The manager looks at his watch. They're not going to get through everyone by 4. But Kurt doesn't care. At 4:15, the security team confers, decides to extend the signing. Kurt doesn't object, keeps going. By 4:45, there are still 30 people in line. He signs every single one. Doesn't rush, doesn't cut it off. Stays until the last person gets their CD signed. Their moment. Their 10 seconds with Kurt Cobain. The last person is a kid, 16 maybe, nervous, hands shaking. He tells Kurt that Nevermind got him through his parents' divorce, that the music made him feel less alone. Kurt listens, really listens. Then he writes on the CD booklet, a full paragraph. Takes 3 minutes. The kid reads it, tears up. Thanks, Kurt. Kurt nods, tells him to take care of himself. The kid leaves. The line is empty. The store is quiet. Kurt stands up, stretches. His back aches. His hand is cramped into a claw. The security team packs up the table. Kurt walks to the back of the store, finds the manager, thanks him. The manager looks surprised. Kurt never thanks anyone, just shows up, signs, leaves. But today he stops, shakes the manager's hand, says it was good. Outside, the gray sky has darkened. Evening coming. Kurt walks to the van parked in the alley behind the store. His security team escorts him. Nobody says much. Kurt climbs into the back seat, sits there, stares out the window. The driver asks where to. Kurt says home. They pull out of the alley, drive through Seattle streets, past the market, past the waterfront, past the neighborhoods Kurt used to walk through when he was nobody, when he was just a kid from Aberdeen with a guitar and songs nobody wanted to hear. That night, at the house in the Denny Blaine neighborhood, Kurt sits in the living room. Frances Bean is asleep upstairs. The nanny left an hour ago. Courtney calls from Los Angeles, asks how the signing went. Kurt tells her it was fine. She asks if anything happened. He pauses, tells her about the man, the question. She listens, asks what he said. Kurt repeats it. Do you remember why you started? Courtney goes quiet. Then she asks, do you? Kurt says, yeah. Says he does. Says he forgot for a while, but he remembers now. They talk for a few more minutes, then hang up. Kurt sits in the dark living room, doesn't turn on the lights, just sits there, thinking. He picks up his acoustic guitar, the one he writes on, the one that's been sitting untouched for weeks. Starts playing, quietly, so he doesn't wake Frances. Just chords. Nothing specific, just sound, just music. The thing that mattered before everything else got in the way. He plays for an hour, maybe more, loses track of time. Then he puts the guitar down, pulls out a notebook, the one he carries everywhere, filled with lyrics and drawings and half-finished thoughts. He flips to a blank page, writes at the top, "Why I Started," underlines it, then starts writing. Not lyrics, not a song, just thoughts, stream of consciousness, remembering. He writes about being 14, about hearing the Pixies for the first time, about the way music made him feel less alone in a town that didn't understand him, about the first time he wrote a song, about the first time someone heard it and said it mattered, about the early shows in basements and dive bars, about playing for 10 people who actually cared, about the moment he realized music could be more than escape, could be connection, could be truth told loud enough that other people heard it and felt less alone too. He writes for pages, fills the notebook. His handwriting gets messier as he goes, faster, like he's trying to get it all out before he forgets again, before the noise comes back and drowns it out. When he stops writing, it's past midnight. The house is silent. He closes the notebook, sets it on the coffee table, leans back on the couch, stares at the ceiling. Exhausted, but different, lighter, like something he'd been carrying fell away. The man from Tower Records, the one with the worn jacket and empty hands, Kurt never saw him again. Doesn't know his name, doesn't know his story, doesn't know if he was a fan or a stranger or someone who just happened to be there at the right moment. But the question stayed. Do you remember why you started? 5 words that cut through the exhaustion and the noise and the endless performance. 5 words that reminded Kurt of something he'd buried under fame and expectation and the weight of being the voice of a generation he never asked to represent. In the months after, Kurt talked about that day. Not publicly, not in interviews, but to friends, to people close to him. He mentioned the man, the question, said it mattered, said it helped, said it reminded him that the music was still there, underneath everything else, underneath the tours and the labels and the videos and the pressure. The music, the reason he started, the only thing that ever made sense. Some stories don't end when the music fades. They stay with us, quietly. If this story meant something to you, join our community. Subscribe and share your thoughts below. Where are you watching from? Which city? Which part of the world? We read every comment.